Jodice is the National Press Secretary of the American Federation of Children. He joins me now to discuss from Promised Reality. School choice was a big winner in 2025. Will we keep the momentum in 2026? Brian, welcome to the program.
Yeah, Steve, good to be with you. How are you?
I'm good. Look, school choice is incredibly important. It is. It allows kids in otherwise failing schools to have an option. And it's strange to me that there are politicians out there that would stand against this. Of course, they get a lot of money from the teachers' unions and others. And I think that their intentions are not pure. Am I wrong?
No, you've hit the nail on the head, my friend. And when you're talking about an apparatus that runs around to the tune of about $3 billion with a B a year, that's what the teachers' unions have in their coffers to be able to do what they will with it. And rarely, if ever, read as never, does that feel like it goes towards increasing educational outcomes, improving educational outcomes, prioritizing students, prioritizing families' needs. It's really just about adults and quite frankly, far too many buildings. And so we've continued to see this shift, though, where more and more states are adopting more pro-family school choice policies. 30 states across America now have some sort of school choice program. We're nearing 20 with universal eligibility. We've got this incredible opportunity with the federal scholarship tax credit. That was part of the reconciliation package. And so we're really excited for what's happened over the last few years. Last year specifically, I mean, 2025 was a huge win, but then we roll into 2026 with great opportunity for more states to embrace this. But I think you're right. And I think you've pulled at the thread a little bit, and more families, more communities are starting to see this. I mean, when the teachers unions are plastering posters for Venezuela rallies, that has nothing to do with educating our kids or making sure they can read or write.
Yeah, that would be a problem. Are these the same folks that were screaming "No kings" here repeatedly in 2025, and yet here they are seeing a dictator taken out? And we like the king now, the guy who murdered his own people, shipped millions of people illegally across borders along with drugs and everything else, and invited China and Russia into his nation? That guy?
Yeah, the mask is off, and it shows that just this is clearly a political operation and nothing to do with educating kids across America. So again, more and more people can see this. Look, we saw this during the pandemic. Families got a front row view to really just how politically motivated the teachers' unions were. When they stood in the schoolhouse door saying we couldn't get our kids back to school safely, when everyone knew that we could. I mean, common sense showed you that these students could get back to school, yet they continue to block it. It shows just what they are. They are political apparatus. They're well-funded and they're well-organized. But I think more and more people are seeing it. And so what you can hope is that teachers across America, where they have the opportunity to say, you know, maybe this isn't something I want to be a part of. Maybe I can, if I've got the ability to opt out of my local union, maybe I can do so. And
here's another part of it, Brian. Here's the other part of it. Charter schools. The unions stand, shoulder to shoulder fighting against charter schools. Look, in Detroit, Michigan, I'm in the shadow of Detroit right here where I sit. They don't have great public schools, all right? They've got their challenges like any big city school district, all right? But charter schools in the city of Detroit have outperformed routinely the public schools, right? They have. And yet the teachers' unions who claim to care about education block them every step of the way. And that's just not right, is it?
That's right. And why are those charters performing so well? Because they've got the autonomy and the freedom and the flexibility to do what's best for their school and their students, right? That's the beauty in the way in which school choice works. Like, get the education back to the kids as close as possible. So I've been so excited for Secretary McMahon and President Trump for this approach of sending education back to the states. The charter model is a great example of how it can work, where a school can run itself, right? Where you've got a local board that is actually at that school. Parents are involved. Teachers are involved, right? Students want to learn. Like, that's the key to success here. And so it is incredible. But again, we've seen it time and time again, and it should come as no surprise. I mean, look, the unions want all the control. And when they say, look, we're okay with school choice, if you can afford it or you can send your kids there, they really mean they only want kids to go to one make and model. They only want kids to go to traditional public schools. And look, for millions of kids across our country, that's working incredibly well. But it doesn't mean it should be the only option. We've got to free things up more. I'm telling you, Steve, this federal scholarship tax credit can be an absolute game changer in the way in which governors can opt into the program. They can free scholarship dollars up that are donor funded in their states, right? Tax incentive for the donors to get a $1,700 tax credit. Create scholarships in the states, and that can be used for a lot of different things. Private school tuition, yes, but also tutoring services. So in those areas like Detroit, where kids are falling further and further behind, despite spending more and more, you could then bring donor-funded scholarships in to help kids get tutoring services while at the same time helping kids afford a private school that might best meet their needs. It really is a game changer.
It is a game changer. And maybe we can return to teaching kids about reading, writing, and arithmetic. I've been looking at some things here, and I'll just get you to quickly weigh in on this. Several states, about 10 now, they make each county a school district instead of each little school district dividing up the county. As a result, they save a tremendous amount of money. They have one superintendent. They have one food contract. They have one maintenance contract, whatever. And so more money goes into the students, not into the pockets of God only knows who, right? Because you have 15 different contracts for everything, right? I mean, can we be smarter about this? Furthermore, New Mexico, they build one school in that state, my understanding. Every district that needs a new school, it's the same school. They duplicate it. And by doing so, they're not building some architect's resume. They're building a school that effectively becomes better every time they build a new one because they iron out a few of the wrinkles. I mean, there are ways to save money, and that money could also go back into educating kids, couldn't it?
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of threads to pull there. I think the big picture is when you're talking about education reform, you need new ideas, and you can't continue to do the same thing over and over when the results aren't bearing out. And so the idea of thinking of new ways to ensure that student-centered outcomes are the focus of this. Who's the end user in all this, Steve?
The
student,
kid,
right?
That's
the
right.
Kid. Everything should be focusing on them, yet all we've seen across America is admin costs skyrocket.
Exactly.
Costs per student stay pretty stagnant. So where's all the money going?
Well, that's the question, Brian. I got to leave it there. But as the son of a fifth grade school teacher, I'm going to tell you there's some elementary things we can do here that will save us a pile of money. Brian, thank you for being here.
Anytime.